So today I'm going to take and show you how to make our Whisky Quail, which is right here, our roasted radishes. They're not baby reds, they're actually radishes, and our boiled broccoli. The one thing I will say is you're watching the video, when I added the Dijon mustard to the quail sauce, I did forget to add the minced garlic. You're going to add about a teaspoon or about a half a teaspoon heaped of minced garlic to your quail sauce, and that's going to flavor it even more. It's good without it, but it just gives that extra pop. So I hope you enjoy watching the video. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe to the channel. There will be more videos to come. Thank you, and we'll see you in a second. Alright, let's get started on this meal. So, first of all, we're going to start off with our roasted radishes. Gotta get these cleaned up, so we're just going to take, all I do, cut off the stems, the leaves, make sure you get all the leaves. We'll rinse these off once we get the leaves and the root off. Got my water preheating over here. For my broccoli. So if you guys have never had roasted radishes, I really suggest you try it. I was very skeptical when I first heard about it, but don't run away. After trying it, I really found that I loved them. We're going to turn that off for a second. Okay, I'm going to give these guys a quick rinse. Get them all cleaned up. Alright, so now we're just going to take and quarter these. I wouldn't go any smaller than a quarter. Alright, I should have gone over. So when I got these done here, I'm going to go over what we need for this meal real quick. Of course, we're going to need our radishes, broccoli, or quail. We're also going to need oil, whether you use canola oil, vegetable oil. I use olive oil, salt and pepper, of course, always. Dijon mustard, minced garlic, rosemary, thyme, some diced onions, some Worcestershire sauce, and of course our whiskey for our Whisky Quail. So the other thing that I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to take about roughly half a teaspoon of rosemary and the same of thyme, and I'm going to add it to my Worcestershire sauce. So what this is going to do is it's going to take and rehydrate the herbs a little bit, so that you're not, like rosemary to me, if you don't rehydrate it, it's kind of like chewing on pine needles. Not really, but that's kind of texture it gives. So we're going to let that sit while we do the rest of our prep. So we're going to go just a little bit of olive oil over the top of our radishes, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, just a little bit of garlic, and then I'm going to go with just a little bit of thyme. A couple pinches. Okay. So I'm going to give that a quick toss. Now we already have our oven preheated to 375 degrees. And these are going to take about a half an hour to go, so we're going to let them cook, and then we're going to get everything else prepped, and then we'll get to it. Okay, and I'm going to take and clean off just a little bit and kind of drizzle it over. Now if you want everything to come out at roughly the same time, what you're going to do is, these will take about a half an hour. So put these in, wait about 15 minutes, we'll come back, we'll get started on the quail, and then we'll get the broccoli going, and so everything comes out at the same time. So get these popped in the oven, and I'll bring you back as soon as we get them ready, or get going. We'll get the quail ready, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. So we're going to start off. We're going to get our grill going here, or range, so that can preheat. We're going to add roughly a tablespoon of oil to it. I'm using olive oil. I'm trying to be a little bit more healthy, so that's what I'm using. Oh, and we're also going to need some diced bacon. So I got my quail here. As you can see, it's spatchcocked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut right down through the wishbone, and then it'll flatten out real nicely. So we'll flip it over. Season it with just a little, or some salt, a little bit of pepper. So I'm going to season the other side too, the inside. Salt. Okay. Get our pan nice and warm. Okay. So now we're going to place our quail into the pan. Turn down the heat just a little bit. So we're going to let this sear for about 3 minutes on this side. We're going to flip it over and sear it on about a medium heat. And we're going to flip it over. Then we're going to add the onions and the bacon to it once we flip it over. And then we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to let it cook with the radishes at about 375 for about 5 to 7 minutes. And that's going to carry it through. Then we'll come on and finish it off. Alright, so we got a nice sear on this side. I'm going to be very careful. The pan is hot. I'm going to flip that over. Got a nice sear on it. So now I'm going to add my bacon. And you want, I don't know, I like quite a bit of bacon, so I'm going to go a slice and a half to 2 slices. I know I just said that I was watching my calorie intake. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of onions to it. Give that just a little bit of a stir up. Alright, so I'm going to pop this in the oven. Like I said, 5 to 7 minutes. I'll bring you right back. It'll be 5 to 7 minutes for me, and it'll be about 2.5 seconds for you. So, we'll be right back. Well, we're at about the 7 to 8 minute mark. Our quail is just up to temp. The one thing I should have said is make sure that if you're going to put the pan in the oven, that it is safe to put the pan in the oven. I've got a high temp pan with a Teflon or a heat resistant handle. So you're going to want to make sure you do that. I'm going to check the radishes are looking good. So we're going to take the fire on here. We're going to take and add our Worcestershire mix. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll be right back. I forgot a couple of things. So give me a second, I'll be right back. Alright, so now that I've totally miffed myself that I've missed 2 of the ingredients, it's a teaspoon of brown sugar and about a teaspoon of lemon juice for this. Don't know how I missed it, but that's what happens when you make a recipe quite a bit. You just bypass stuff, you think you got everything. Give that just a little bit of a stir to get everything incorporated. The lemon juice. We're going to let this get up to a good, decent boil here. We're going to add our broccoli to our water. And cook it for about 3 minutes. Come back up. Alright. So now we're going to take, and pray I don't set the house on fire, but we're going to go right around the outside just real quick like this. Let it come up to a boil. Again, that should light up. There we go. Move that back over there, being it's flammable. Now we're going to take about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. Just a little bit more. I make a mess out of everything. Okay. Now we're going to take and kind of stir this around. What this is going to do is it's going to make our sauce. I like to flip the quail back over. It's going to thicken it up. Kind of use the quail to get our sauce together. Alright, so now I'm going to shut off the heat. I'm just going to let this rest. Move my cutting board. Bring my plate over. Almost done. We'll get that. We'll plate up our radishes here. Pop that back down into the oven. That off. We're going to strain out our broccoli. Now I like letting it sit just for a minute. Lets the water evaporate off of it. As we're letting that sit, now we're going to get our quail on. So I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to take some of this sauce. And I'll lay it underneath the quail. Now I'm going to take my quail, lay it right down on the sauce, I'll drizzle just a little bit of the sauce over the top of the quail. Now I'm going to take and just get the onions and garlic, and then I'm going to take some of my broccoli. I'll plate that up. Put that in the sink. Alright, in my little spot up here. Alright, there you go. So we have our broccoli, roasted radishes, and our whiskey quail all for you. And at the edge of the plate a little bit. There you go. Alright, so from my house to yours, thank you, and I hope you had a great time watching the video, and God bless.